finish up lesson 5 today. Sometimes we forget that right before Abraham's story began in Genesis, in the very chapter before, we find the story of the Tower of Babel in Genesis 11. Verse 4 says those builders of the Tower of Babel wanted to make a name for themselves. Well, they certainly did, but it wasn't a very good name. In contrast, Abraham was told in Genesis 12:2 that God would make his name great. God had big plans for the nation that would start with Abraham, didn't he? In Exodus 19:5, it says this nation would be a special treasure above all people. They would be a kingdom of priests, a holy nation. Their faith and obedience would make them a happy, healthy, and holy nation that would draw idolaters away from their pagan worship services that had copied and twisted the true worship of their Creator. The nation of Israel that grew from the descendants of Abraham had opportunities to instruct the surrounding nations about the plan of salvation. God's desire was for their place of worship to be a house of prayer for all people. Isaiah 56:7. Let's remember that even today, we can bring glory to God's name, or we can bring shame upon him before the world, even before the universe. In 1 Corinthians 4:9, Paul said that they had been displayed both to angels and to men. The angels on unfallen worlds are anxiously watching and waiting to see our response to God's supreme act of love and mercy, the sacrifice of his one and only Son. Next week, we'll learn more about how we are active players in God's plan of salvation and deliverance through his Son. I'll see you on Tuesday then for the lesson on Abraham's seed. Shabbat Shalom.